So we never got a chance to talk about our actual wedding and how that went. But before we get into that, today's sponsor is Honey Bloom Cafe. I would rate this 9.5 out of 10. Super fire. Kind of tastes like strawberry Pop Tart.
I had mine at I'll give it a 9. The caramel coconut latte is pretty dope. It's good, different. I keep looking at the cup like it's gonna change my mind, but no, it's a different flavoring. I think when you go somewhere, you try to get their custom drink, just so you know a little bit more about what they're trying to, come up with, and tells the story about them. So 9 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's perfect. Strong and sweet. That's how I like my drink. So
Okay, now back to our wedding.
hmm
So we got married through the court, and I would say that I didn't think we were gonna get married that day, just because I don't know, it just felt chaotic because I had made an appointment, but it was just to like sign the piece of paper, and then they were gonna marry people at 5 o'clock. So my appointment was at 2, and then we had to wait at 5, and then like my family was kind of running late, and then we were like calling our parents and like our family like, no, don't come yet, wait until 5. And then my friend couldn't be the photographer, so I had to ask my other friend if he could take photos and videos, and it just felt like chaotic. There was a bunch of people there. I honestly thought it was just gonna be like me and him and a couple other people, but it was like a lot of people. But it was kind of cool though because everybody was hyped. I thought it was beautiful because we all had a plan and we had the same plan of getting married on the same day. So that was pretty cool. And then like leaving the parking lot, like people were like honking, like, it was like a celebration, like making a covenant, before God. So, and, doing it the right way. So that was pretty cool.
yeah, so we had thought like we are gonna get married like at a certain time, and so when we went there, we basically just had to sign a marriage certificate and then wait like another couple hours. So just we were like hurrying everybody up. We had like a friend that was coming to help take pictures, and I think like whenever you're doing something like that and you get you feel like you get it wrong, you feel like you just don't know what you're doing, and then you're just at that point you kind of feel like you're just at the mercy of chance, and like, oh man, what if this doesn't happen? And so yeah, it made us feel like pretty uneasy, on edge. It was already we were already really nervous. So you just, I don't know, felt like we didn't know what we were doing, but we did because we planned everything. But at the same time, it just kind of was. It was super, like, your mind's racing, your heart's beating, you're trying to have normal conversations. Like our parents were like meeting right there, so it was kind of like all happening at once.
Mhm.
But I did want to say that it was kind of cool because when we had talked, I was like, our siblings are really close to us. I mean, it's not like that for everybody, but like her sister's really close to her, and my sister's close to me, and it was just kind of cool to like have that like mesh and kind of come together right there. And you already know life, like it gets busy, like we're gonna end up being married and going back to real life, and then we're probably not gonna see each other's families like that for a little while. So we're just trying to soak in the moment and stuff like that. But I think that by us going and signing a certificate and then like having to go sit back down for like 2 hours or something, where you're like, oh, I felt bad. I was rushing everybody, and now I'm looking like I don't know what I'm doing. So it was cool. It was a cool experience. There's so much that was going on that day, but yeah, it was cool. It just feels like a movie. Like you're doing everything, and you're in crunch time, and your adrenaline's like there, and then you're just like, man, I'm just supposed to be an intimate time, and then you're feel race. So I think the number one thing though is that surprised me is that because the court always has like it kind of has like a look when people get married through court, it kind of looks like just whatever, but like it was kind of cool because Everybody there was super hype. Like there was all kinds of people. It made it feel like a celebration. It was just a small takeaway. You know, we kind of talked about it. We're like, damn, that's kind of cool. Like everybody was like in a good mood. There was like old couples that were getting married. There was young people. There was, you know, big old families. People were honking out of the parking lot. I was like, well, it's just kind of cool. It's not like a court experience, like, you know what I mean? So it was cool, you know.
And I would add to that that I saved my kiss until marriage. And like for me, that was like nerve wracking by itself. Like I was like super nervous to kiss him because we were dating for like 5 months.
Yeah, about 5 months.
Yeah, and we never kissed, so that was like our first kiss. So that was like kind of cool. And then, um, oh yeah, and then the tux thing too, because we were gonna have like two things, one for our family, um, and then the second day was gonna be with just our friends. So I was like wearing two different colors. Like for the court, I wore like a cream colored dress, and then for like the wedding at the ranch, or like the wedding dinner at the ranch, I wore a white dress. So I told him, and,
Hmm.
and you know he didn't listen.
And I just switched up the colors. I was being original. She didn't understand the concept. And I could tell because I was like, bro, I spent all this money and I did this at a certain time and I had this arranged. I had like my friend come help me. And then, you know, just that split second, she made me feel like, oh, bro, you're messing it up. And I was like, what? Like, but then, like, right after that, she's like, oh, it's okay. You know, like, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, I got convicted because I was kind of being mean. I was like, "You never listen," because he like kind of did like the opposite, and so and then I felt bad because I was like being mean. So I was like, "I'm sorry, like you know, it's gonna work out. You know, it's gonna look good either way." So either way, it worked out and it looked good.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I would just say that plan that part out. Plan your suit out like really well. Plan everything out. Because I had heard too, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So make sure you plan out all those like details out with your suit. I kind of put that like, I'll just figure it out last minute, and it was low key kind of last minute, and I ended up spending probably too much money. That I could have looked for belts, and anyways, back to what she's
But we decided to have something special for our family and then something separate for our friends. And for me, I think it was worth it. Um, Even though too, like um, dinner, our wedding dinner, it felt chaotic too because my mom had made the food for it and then she couldn't like bring it to where we were at, and so he had to like go over there, and like there was like traffic going over there, so like I had everything planned out, like the time everything was gonna happen, and everything just went out the window. He ended up leaving, so I had to host, and like I was like nervous and like shy. I'm like, oh my gosh, now the pressure's on me, and like I had like an hour window to like prepare like the table, and I was running out of time. People already were showing up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a disaster!" Like I wanted to cry. Like I'm like, "We need a backup plan. Like we might have to just go to Little Caesars and get some
saying.
pizza because this is just not gonna work out." Like, and I had it like reserved for like a certain amount of time too. So I'm like, I don't think we're gonna get through everything that I wanted to get through. Because we had like worship, we had like the dinner, we had communion, um, we had like cutting the cake and everything. So I mean, everything worked out just how it was supposed to, you know. So I would say both days were like kind of hectic and stressful, but it was still beautiful. And oh yeah, also too that day, like the weather was kind of like funny, like it looked like it was gonna rain and then not, and then it was like sprinkling a little bit.
Yeah, I
So
remember it
like
was like starting to drizzle, and we're like sitting on the dinner table. I'm just like eating, like everyone's thinking, "Wow, bro, this better not rain right now," but it didn't, and it was kind of ended up being like really good weather, and stuff. I did want to take a time out too. Like she prepared, like Myra prepared everything like super in advance. Like she had decorations, she had all these like things, you know what I mean, and she already had like the idea, like all planned out, and she held it down. And it was like, I think like when you get in that mode of like, this is the day and this has to happen, you kind of get over. I know me, I was kind of over like the emotions about things. At that point, I was just like, well, we just gotta make this happen. So if I gotta go to her mom's and pick up the
Pozole.
menu there, or menudo or pozole.
Pozole.
Oh, okay, so like, oh yeah, yeah, pozole. So then I'll just do that, you know. And I was like, no worries, I'll come back. And then yeah, the freeway was blocked off in all directions, and Myra's parents lived kind of far too, and I was like, dang. I was like, shh. I was like, this is not turning out good. I just really wanted people to just have a little intimate time. That's really it, because when it's all said and done, we're making the wedding. Oh, it's so big, and we want to make it perfect. I planned this and da 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 da. And just sometimes you just gotta let things happen, you know, and just focus on the task at hand. The task is getting married. The task is enjoying celebrating, and not worried about this color or this, this and that. Of course, I want everything to be, what we've talked about and planned, but at the end of the day, I just wanted it to happen because yeah, it was kind of getting hard.
Mhm.
So, but on our wedding, we went out to eat, and it was kind of cool. We had a like real intimate time, and we had like sushi and kept it simple. I think that's a big part about doing something, is keeping things real simple, something that everybody enjoys. I think when you're planning things like that, you're trying to plan for other people, all keeping everybody in mind and making everybody else happy. At the end of the day, it's your wedding. You make it how God kind of called you guys to make it.
Yeah.
Of course you want to serve as people and be that type, consider people, but at the end of the day, you want to make it like how, like, between you two, between us. So that's what I took away from pretty much those days. So
Yeah, I thought it was really special. And I think planning ahead is like important too, so it wouldn't be like so like adding more stress onto the like actual day.
yeah,
So planning ahead is pretty good too. That would be my advice.
yeah, I would say too, like, just to I guess highlight our story, like, we got married super fast. You want to just be as transparent as you can about being like married quick. So if you're gonna get married quick and you just want to really plan elaborately, like really plan it, and set dates, I would say just set dates. Start there, because the way we did it, we kind of set it up towards we couldn't pick any other day. It had to happen on that day. So like we had deposits and we bought things, and um we forced we forced it to happen on that day. And I use the word force because I'm a person that could switch my mind. It could be like, oh, you know what,
Maybe
maybe
this
like,
day or that
yeah, we
day.
could just switch. It's our wedding. Who's to say? But man, as you get older, life gets so busy, and everybody's schedule may not be open too. You're like, so plan dates and just stick with it, and just it'll happen the way it's supposed to happen. And just do that, because I'm a person that's learning how to plan better. And this was like a big step for me. Like, is just trusting in this whole process.
Yeah, everything was already planned out like way before he even like proposed. So like when he proposed, like everybody was asking, "Oh, when's the wedding?" And usually, people are like, "Oh, in like a couple months," or like, "We don't know yet." But for us, like we already knew. It was like kind of already written in our calendar
Yeah.
that was the day. And then everybody's like, "Whoa, like that's kind of fast." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I just kind of already knew because we had already known, and it was just kind of like waiting for that day." So
Yeah,
yeah.
and just to make the story a little bit more crazy, and I know we'll probably share this in some other videos, but we're getting married. I was sold a house. I was in the middle of selling a house, and we are moving like over here. So we're building stuff because we kind of moved in a little too early. We're trying to get married and then move in, but we had to move in slightly before that. Was it 2 weeks? It was
Mhm.
about 2 weeks. So that kind of sucked a little bit, because I'm like, bro, I ain't trying to move in. But we had to do that. But we had like a bunch of projects here. Like Myra is a fan of buying things that where you have to build, and I hate building stuff. So I was like, wow, this is a first step into our marriage, like where I'm gonna have to change my way of thinking. So whenever we're here, we'll be like building stuff. We have stuff to do. We're occupied. Um, and so we're doing that, planning a honeymoon, and then just life and work, and we're just crunching it in like this time period, and it ended up working. I had like little doubt the whole time, like I had little voices in my head being like, "That's you can't do that, can't do this," but I was like, "Make it happen," you know. So it's a big part. It's a big cool testimony, and my for me, like it's a good experience, and it's a good way to start off your foundation for each other is trusting, like trusting that you could do something like this, and you're doing this together. So it was cool. It was a cool experience. We always look back and talk about it. You know, so much happened so
Yeah.
fast. You know.
Yeah, it was like stepping out in faith and really like trusting God that He was gonna like make a way, and man, He really did. He He made a way. And if you know, you know, like of us getting married fast, like it wasn't fast, you know. It's like if you know, like why wait and like for us, it's like we already knew, so like let's just get married.
So with that too, real quick, if you know that you're gonna get married quick, it's actually gonna people don't realize this, and we didn't tell afterwards or during. It felt like forever. For me, I felt like, dude, this is taking a long time. I think
Mm,
because when once you set that date, you're just like, it's like when you go to school and you know you get out at 3:30, but it's 11, and you're just like, you keep looking at the clock. It just seems like the clock is moving so slow, and that's how it kind of felt for us. I'm like, bro, this is taking a long time. I just want to get married already. I just want this to happen.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It feels like it takes a long time.
yeah. But in the end, everything was worth it, and it was worth the wait for me.
Of course, for me, you're looking at me like, is it worth the wait? Yeah, it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. It just tells you a lot about yourself. It tells you a lot about your spouse, and a lot about your family, a lot about your support. And at the end, when it's all said and done, you have your own choice. Of how fast or slow you want to get married. Everybody is going to respect it because that's what you want. So you got to get over like doing things to please people. You shouldn't have that at all in your mind, but you do got to just be like, you got to be a little aware. Like, if you want to have a big wedding, you probably want to consider other people's schedules and time. But if you want to have something small, um, it's a little bit more forgiving, like you can make mistakes. It's small, it's fast, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was better having something small. I couldn't imagine like having a big wedding. Which that was another thing that you wanted me to have was like a big wedding for like my parents. You felt like my parents deserved that and I deserved that. But for me, I just wanted to go small, like and have it like more intimate and people that like supported us in this because some people weren't really supportive. But for the most part, everybody was.
Yeah.
But like for us, it was important to have people that like really like were kind of there from the beginning and then also like really like excited and happy for us. So I mean that's kind of important too because I don't know, you start to like realize things when it's like a big chapter in your life and then like the people that you thought were gonna be there weren't there, like that kind of hurts too, but I don't know. um I guess you could kind of just decide what you want to do with that, but those things do happen. But I guess just like focus on like the people who do support you and are excited for you because it is an exciting moment.
Yeah. And when you're done getting married or whatever, the fruit of your marriage is really what matters. You already know, you're like, okay, we're gonna have obstacles. There's gonna be things that are gonna take years for us to like see the difference. And you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with having like the long term goal like in mind and stuff. So I think the good thing I just want to say is that we talked a lot about the biggest things first. I know she's brought this up in other videos, but just for me, like we talked about everything, like from the jump, like do you want kids? When do you want to get married? Da, 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 And I know, like in the world, and even not even the world, just like you do want to know more about the person. You want to have experience and with like how you guys are going to handle a conflict or how you can handle this. But we spent a lot of time with each other. Like we had lot of conversations. I'm a thinker, so I always had something to talk about that was important to me. And she checked a lot of boxes, like for me personally. And she's been consistent. Um, so yeah, anyways, the fruit of everything is what matters, more than the wedding.
Yeah. Thanks for
Tuning in.
yeah. Catch you in the next one. Let's go.